Hey guys, it's CL. I'm so sorry that this is not a video. We tried, but the footage ended up getting messed up or something like that. So it's going to be audio only, which is nostalgic. So I hope you like it because it's going to be like the good old days. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy our Oscars 2022 predictions. If you would like the video version of this and we can eventually figure out how to upload it, maybe we'll put it on like Patreon or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Wow.
Hey there, Smarty Mart shoppers. All of your carts are on the right.
To the left, No.
Everything you own.
Copyright. Okay. Hello, and welcome back to a cinema podcast.
What's up, kids? It's our second time ever talking about movies.
Yeah.
March movie madness.
Guys, today for us is the day that we've been waiting for so long.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about this year's Best Picture nominations, as well as our own thoughts on them, as well as the other nominations for the show. But the way we're going to break it down is most of us went and watched every movie for the Best Picture noms. We're going to go down the list, give our thoughts, and then later on get to our predictions, as well as the host debacle that everybody's been talking about and our thoughts on that. So if you guys are getting ready for the Oscars, this will contain no spoilers. Mm-hmm. So if you like our reviews, still go check out the movies. Get ready for the Oscars themselves. We'll also have either a picture on our social medias, or maybe I'll even put it in the description, I'm not sure yet, of the places you can stream those movies at. I think you guys should watch all the Best Picture nominations this year, and try to, let's reinvigorate film culture again. I know that it's been tough with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
I think we need to start celebrating movies again, and this is a sign of that, and I think us doing this is a really good thing.
Help revitalize it by subscribing to the channel.
Subscribe.
Yeah, we
Like
like
podcasts.
movies.
We talk about movies and TV shows, and that's what we do. Okay, so what do you say we just jump in?
Get into it.
All right,
predictions at the end.
What's our first?
Warned.
Yeah, predictions at the end. What is the first Best Picture nominee?
Nightmare Alley.
Okay, Nightmare Alley. It's very funny we start with this one. They didn't watch Nightmare Alley, but I did.
Do you want me to read the Wikipedia?
Yes, go ahead. That's a good idea.
Okay. Nightmare Alley is a 2021 American neo-noir psychological thriller film directed by Guillermo del Toro from a screenplay by del Toro and Kim Morgan based on the 1946 novel of the same name. It follows the 1947 version. It stars Bradley Cooper, who is a charming, ambitious carnival worker with a mysterious past who takes big risks to boost his career. It also stars Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, etc.
So this movie is nominated for just a few Oscars. We obviously have Best Picture, Best Production Design, Costume Design, and Cinematography. This movie, it's entirely atmosphere. So if you're somebody who digs on a movie's feeling versus what they offer as a story or a narrative, this is entirely your vibe. This has got, it's interesting period piece with a lot of horror wrapped into it. Definitely not for the casual viewer, not something to watch with your kids. Keep in mind, this was directed by Del Toro, who directed The Shape of Water, one of the most controversial Best Picture wins of all time, being that there was a lady who fucked a fish. So in regards to that, Nightmare Alley, for me, is definitely one of the lower films on this list. Okay. And that's why I didn't even bother telling them to watch it, because I just don't think that there's something for everybody here. So that is my overhead review of Nightmare Alley. B. Coops is great. If you love a B. Coop penis, it's right in there for you.
I mean, I love a B. Coop penis, but there's a lot to get past. I just popped in for a second when you were watching this, and
there's a better B. Coop performance just in these nominations, let alone in his career. So this, for me, utterly forgettable. Let's move on.
Yeah, agreed.
Next movie.
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up, directed by Adam McKay. You may know him from movies such as Vice, stuff like that. What's the Wikipedia on the film?
Don't Look Up is a 2021 American apocalyptic black comedy film produced and directed by Adam McKay, starring ensemble cast Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Rob Morgan, Jonah Hill, Tyler Perry, Timothée Chalamet, Ariana Grande, Meryl Streep. It tells the story of two astronomers attempting to warn humanity about the approaching comet that will destroy human civilization.
So before I get into like the meaning and stuff behind the movie, what did you guys just think about the movie as an overall?
Oh my
Because you guys
God.
both watched this.
Oh my
one.
God,
Oh,
the cast is an all-star cast. Ariana Grande was surprisingly not annoying in it.
Yeah, I think this is very much like a modern version of Mad World, where it's this huge cast,
Yeah.
huge stars in it, doing. I think we can all agree, pretty ridiculous story.
And a social commentary, too.
Exactly. Well, that's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
Is this is all about global warming. It's supposed to be a message, and that's why Leo was so adamant in it. You see one of the best performances from Leonardo DiCaprio in a while in this. But it's a good movie. It really is. Do I think yet again that it deserves to be on this list? I'm going to go ahead and say no. I think that it was a really good movie. I think it was very entertaining, especially like, it's on streaming. It's on Netflix. You can just sit down with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever it is.
We even watched it like with our family for a little bit.
It's genuinely a fun and thought-provoking motion picture.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to change any lives. I don't think it's anything like Big Short or Vice. I just think that Adam McKay has definitely done better work. What did you think about?
I really liked it. I will say, I think maybe it's because of the names that are involved in it, not 100%, but like I viewed this more as like a popcorn movie and not so much as a like, wow, you're nominated for Best Picture. But I really did like it, and I enjoyed, a lot of the comedy was really great. Besides J-Law's atrocious wig, I really enjoyed like how not only is it like a commentary on global warming, but it was also like very with the times with like the COVID pandemic.
What's so great about the movie is this movie was penned to script, completed before the outbreak.
Crazy.
Before quarantine.
That is nuts.
So
it feels
insane.
like
I
it was
think-
a product of it.
For
Yeah.
those who think that the social commentary of this movie is flawed and annoying and that characters really wouldn't act this way, I point to you the real world. But that doesn't necessarily make it anywhere near the rest of these pictures. So
Yeah.
that for me, it still ranks as one of the lower options.
I could see that.
Is that all we have to say?
What
about
did you
it?
think, Fran?
That's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Ariana
honestly.
was shockingly not terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
I liked her.
I know that she's acted in stuff before. She acted in like the
She was
Nickelodeon
Cat.
show.
Yeah.
But shockingly, like I was really thinking it was gonna be a bit of like a bad role. I thought it was just gonna be like her being herself. It's not that. She's not herself. It's a very different character. And the song from it's really funny. And I actually feel like the song, not that we're gonna get into nominations, but the song was kind of snubbed. I feel like the song totally deserved a spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, dude, the song where it was like "Don't Look Up," the actual song
Yeah.
of the movie, that was one of the best parts. I thought it was super funny and like totally fit the story. Whereas like a lot of songs that get nominated for best song are great songs, but sometimes don't really fit the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this song's made for this movie, literally. But those are my thoughts.
Next is Dune.
Dune. Okay, this one's Just get into the Wikipedia. First.
I was like, I'll just go straight into Wikipedia.
Just go to the
always.
Wikipedia first.
Dune, titled on screen as Dune Part 1, is a 2021 American epic science fiction film directed by Denis Villeneuve. Sure. Villeneuve.
It's actually Denis Villeneuve. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm just letting you know it's foreign. So.
Bless you. Okay. From a screenplay, and it is the first of two adaptations of the 1965 novel by Frank Herbert, primarily covering the first half of the book. Set in the far future, it follows Paul Atreides and his family, the noble house of Atreides, as it is thrust into war in a deadly and hospitable desert island, Arrakis. I had a stroke. Desert planet, Arrakis.
Okay. So let me say this. It's hard to judge this movie before I know that there's going to be some polarizing takes. So before we even get into them, you cannot really, in my opinion, fully judge this movie yet because this was always intended to be a part 1, part 2, and Villeneuve wanted to make it one giant epic. But obviously Warner's had their own ideas about the film. So that's something to keep in mind. I have a feeling that people have some opinions on this that might be a little aggressive, given how we haven't seen the full picture yet. I'm not actually talking about anybody here.
You're not actually talking about me?
I'm talking about I know that there's a lot of people in the awards section that were like, Dune, really? Like, it's like a half-baked science fiction movie that looks really incredible. And like, maybe some of that's true, but I believe in Villeneuve as a director. That dude directed Blade Runner 2049 and Prisoners. He is an incredible director, and I have faith that part 2 will redeem issues that I had with part 1. What did you guys think of Dune?
I hated it.
Fair enough. What did you hate about it?
It was boring. It was slow. It needed subtitles so bad.
Well, Cody got to watch his on subtitles because he watched on HBO.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of nice. I bet that changed the experience a lot.
Yeah, I think you benefit from having subtitles because you're getting the names a lot clearer. You're getting kind of like...
And it also like doesn't want to build the world at all, but wants you to like abandon like you know.
I disagree.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I feel like it wants you to jump right in. I feel like it's almost like you gotta have read the book or something.
It does a lot of world building. I feel like I think it just comes in a little bit later than it should have. I feel like this is definitely more of a slow burn of sorts. And I mean, I agree for kind of like the pacing that it is. It does kind of hinder it in a way.
Yeah.
But
this is the best visual effects that you will maybe ever see. The visual effects in this film are incredible, and that is something to marvel at, I think, in regards to like the film itself. I think that like if you're going to trash on its story, which I understand, or if you're going to disagree with some of its performances, if you're not a Timothée Chalamet fan, he carries a lot of this movie on his shoulders. So if you don't vibe with him, it's going to be a fucking problem. Aside from that, this movie's really like a work of art to look at. I mean, you could watch this movie on mute, on mushrooms, and it would be incredible.
It's beautiful.
It's very, very pretty movie. But yet again, one of the lower ranking ones. I love that these are the first couple. We'll start getting into the...
Well, it's about to turn around. Next is Drive My Car.
Okay.
Drive My Car. Oh my gosh. So Drive My Car is a 2021 Japanese drama road film, co-written and directed by Ryusuke Hamaguchi. It is primarily based on the Murakami short story of the same name from his 2014 collection, Men Without Women. While taking inspiration from other stories within it, the film follows Yusuke Kafuku as he directs a multilingual production of Uncle Vanya in Hiroshima and grapples with the death of his wife, Oto.
This is not an entry level film. Sorry. I love this movie for film fans who are used to film, but I do have to admit it's going to be a large level of entry for people who have never watched like an artisan film, have never seen like indie film. It's 3 hours. You feel the 3 hours, but it is a great slow burn with beautiful scenery. I mean, scenery that maybe more simplistic, but at the same time also holds such like heft. Like every shot, even no matter how simplistic, you're like, okay, that shot means everything in this scene.
Yeah.
Just to like, I'm not going to get into details, but there is one scene where there's somebody standing by like a riverbank and they're smoking cigarettes, and just the establishment of that scene, and there's like people on different steps, and like there's like a depth of field between them. It is great filmmaking, and the water looks serene and like unreal. So that's some of the positives. I think some of the negatives is you could probably have shaved 30 minutes off of this movie just by shortening cuts alone. And I'm not saying you should shorten every cut, but some of them you could have. And then also there's a lot of times where they're doing things that don't really mean anything in the long run, like scenes and takes that aren't really that relevant. I think some of that could have been cut out. But overall, I really liked this one. I thought it's very bleak. So if you can't handle sadness, let's not start with this one, because this is one of the this probably is the saddest movie on the list. I think. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong and I'll correct myself later, but definitely made me the saddest.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, I think this movie's definitely bleak. It's just a big undertaking because it's not only 3 hours, but it's foreign too. Like you're also reading 3 hours of subtitles.
And it's in multiple languages
Yeah.
at times.
So like you have to have the closed caption subtitles on, or you're not going to get the fact that like it's different languages too. So
It's really cool. Like they've got Korean Sign Language, Tagalog.
well, it wasn't Korean Sign Language,
Mandarin.
Japanese Sign Language.
No, it was
Korean Sign Language.
Japanese is you don't use your
Japanese
hands.
Okay, gotcha. Oops.
You got that mixed
this
up.
movie's a lot. I feel like it was pretty good. It was good, but yeah, just like you're right. At least a half an hour could be cut out just from like scenes that are just stalling for too long.
And the other thing is, this definitely would have never made a Best Picture nom without Parasite and Rosa.
Yeah.
And
Paved the way a bit.
I feel like now we can't go back. Like we have to acknowledge that foreign language film is incredible. But out of those three, out of the most prominent foreign language films that's come out in the last few years, I would say that this ranks the lowest of those three. For me, I think Rosa and Parasite are not that they're even comparable. I mean, they're different countries, but my point being is this is going to become the new norm. There will constantly be foreign language films brought in, and that's a good thing because we're global. The movies are no longer just Hollywood and the United States or the UK. They're everywhere, and there's tons of different interesting stories being told out there. So I'm very glad that this movie exists, and if you love, intense filmmaking and in-depth story, this is the one that I think will stand out for you as well.
Okay. I loved it, first of all. I think it can be a little jarring because, I mean, of the three of us, I'd consider me the film noob.
He's the film layman right now.
Yeah,
he has not yet graduated film school.
So, like, I haven't seen a lot of classics, so stay tuned for that.
We're going to take him through all of it.
So it's interesting to see how like the first 20 minutes of the film, which is all in like the premise, feels like an entirely different film than the actual like second 2.5 hours. I will say this is some of the most beautiful cinematography I've ever seen. Like there's the cigarette, which I think is in the trailer. The cigarette through the sunroof
is incredible,
so beautiful.
And like I said, that field of depth shot was really great, and those are all in the trailer. And the best part is the scenes in the trailer are not the best looking scenes in the movie. They did not spoil it for you. There's better looking scenes.
100%. There's definitely times where you can feel the barrier between like actual countries,
the cultural
like the
barrier,
storyline telling.
This is absolutely a look into a different culture.
Yeah,
like entirely.
exactly.
Like there's a cultural barrier, very apparent. I think you're right about that.
Yeah. So like I really love it because I am also used to like Japanese drama and I love that kind of stuff. So it was just kind of weird to see it here. I was like, whoa, I didn't know that they considered pictures like this. But overall, it is such a beautiful film, and I agree. It is a dower on your mood. It is a commitment, but if you're willing to put in that work, I think it's so gorgeous and worth it.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Get out the wine with the particular other, whatever and whoever they may be. Sit back and like have an artisanal night, like really like know that this is you're being a little upper crust with this one. This is an entry, like not an entry level film, but it is tremendous.
Yeah.
Is that all we have to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just like it's not at the top of my list.
That's okay. I mean, like
Yeah.
we'll get to what's at the top later.
That, yeah. But it was so good, and I'm so glad I watched it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was. The other thing I'll say is the performances throughout by everybody were beyond good. They were amazing. And I think that there does need to come a time where some of these foreign language actors are considered for these nominations. I don't think that was this year anyway, but I got to tell you, there was some fucking amazing performances in this movie. All right.
100%.
What's the next one?
Belfast. We're fresh off Belfast.
We are. We just watched Belfast a couple hours ago.
Belfast is a 2021 British and Irish coming-of-age drama film written and directed by Kenneth Branagh, and it stars Judi Dench, Jamie Dornan, I'll butcher some of these names, so I'm not going to say them. The film, in which Branagh has described as his most personal film, follows a young boy's childhood in Belfast, Northern Ireland, at the beginning of the Troubles in 1969.
Okay.
So fucking good.
Belfast.
Oh my God. I didn't think I'd like it this much.
All right. So it was inspired by Kenneth Branagh's childhood in a sense. He's the director of Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile. And then he got nominated for screenplay, director, as well as obviously this is getting the Best Picture nom. And there is also a Best Song nomination in this as well. The music, great, very amazing. Fitting of the period. The use of colored picture in reference to black and white, really incredible. This is very reminiscent to Cinema Paradiso. It almost feels like an English language Cinema Paradiso meets Jojo Rabbit. So if you're a film fan and that sounds good to you, this will be beyond good for you. This will be great.
So good.
Jamie Dornan is definitely a sleeper hit actor. I used to think he was just Mr. 50 Shades. I was very impressed by this performance. Dame Judi Dench is always a fucking queen, and she's a queen in this movie too.
Yes.
Overall, I don't even have a lot of things negative to say because on top of it being great cinematography, great story, great acting, even from I think it was is the child named Jude Hill? Is that his name? Jude Hill was great. And it was blissfully short. Like unlike a lot of entries on this movie on this list, this movie was only an hour and a half. It accomplished everything it needed to do. I even might have wanted an extra 20 minutes to be honest. So that's really my critique is I think Kenneth Branagh, like he edited down this movie and cut this movie so well. He might have did too good of a job. I think I wanted some more lingering almost. But I was very happy with the movie.
Yeah. I really like the use of black and white and color in this movie. It's so interesting, and it just really like puts you in, for a like time period piece. It really makes you feel like you're right there with them. It was a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited to talk more about it.
Yeah. There's a scene, I'm not going to get too specific, but there's a scene where like there's a black and white and a color shot, and it is so beautiful how they meld and mesh together. I loved this personally. I think the story's really cool. I don't feel like we've touched a lot upon this time period in film and culture. And I think there's this really cool, dry sense of humor throughout it that even though they're in these like really dark times, it's still the way people act and work. It's like they find a humor and they find a light in everything. And I love, my favorite thing in this film was the relationship between Jude Hill and the grandparents. Mm-hmm. It was just so heartwarming and sweet.
Absolutely. And another thing I really enjoyed about the film is that it's realistic without having to be overly earnest. Like this movie is unapologetically goofy and fun at times because that is really how life is sometimes. You can be set in the worst of circumstances, but if you're around the ones you love, it doesn't matter. And I feel like that is entirely the message of this movie is we can go anywhere. And, you know, like, and we're still going to be family because during this time in Belfast, there's a lot of, you know, historical issues at this time. And this family is facing that. It is a great motion picture.
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza is a 2021 American coming-of-age comedy drama written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Wow, stroke. Again, it stars Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman in their film debuts alongside the ensemble supporting cast Sean Penn, Tom Waits, Bradley Cooper, and Benny Safdie. That's a name.
Yes, Benny, who's a director in his own right. He directed Uncut Gems. Good Time.
He was the political guy, right? Okay, cool.
All right. Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza.
Right off the bat, I'm just going to say one of PTA's weakest for me. It's right around the area of Inherent Vice, in my opinion. I think that this movie's really fun to look at. There's a lot of great performances in it, but it's a little empty for me.
Yeah, I get that. I liked it, I think. It's like... I don't know. It's hard to like, but it's also hard to not like in a way.
There are other movies that came
Yeah.
out this year for me that really kind of absolutely outshine this. But it is a PTA movie, and the one thing you are getting is like this movie is directed the fuck out of. I mean, this is a directed movie. Like,
It's pretty.
it is
I want to
pretty.
see Alana Haim in more stuff too,
Yeah.
especially with like everybody wanting to like make stuff from that time period, like the 70s. She's got the look.
Yeah.
The wardrobe in this was awesome.
Yeah, like
We were just talking about how like we were surprised this did not
Yeah.
get a costume design shout out.
that is crazy. And like if you're looking for like a movie to compare it to, it's very like Dazed and Confused-esque in the sense of like it very much lives in its time period unapologetically. And the one thing it does get down is the candor and the way they speak to each other. Very realistic for the time period. But like I said, for me, I think it just doesn't have enough meat on its bones. I think it just needed more of a thing. Like it just needed, at the end of the day, we can't get into what the story does. Maybe one day we'll review it with spoilers. But I just feel like there's all this great, mood and anticipation and energy. And then it's just kind of like at the end. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I'll say a bit problematic. I mean,
obviously.
put that out there. And by a bit, I mean a lot problematic. I think one of my favorite aspects is that Alana Haim's sisters and parents played her actual family, and I
That
feel
was
like
good and genuine. It came off very genuine.
and it gave it the most, I think, warmth in the film, and that's what it really needed. It needed some heart to live in this world.
And they weren't in it enough.
I 100% agree with that. Like Esty and Danielle were some of my favorite scenes in this film.
It's also just so cool, like seeing them interact with each other. Like it's like you said, genuine.
Yeah, they have a chemistry because they're literally related.
Yeah.
I think again, costume design, it's casual of that time period, and the fact that it's not too try hard, which I really enjoy. I think I just agree. There was a lot of great stuff at work here in the soup, but like they're just like they forgot the meat,
Yep.
And it was like, meh.
Exactly. It's a little lukewarm, like, to be honest. Is it a good movie? Yeah. Would I recommend it? If you keep an open mind, sure. But not one of my favorites. I think because we were talking about things that I ranked early on with those other movies, I would say this is above Nightmare Alley, but below Don't Look Up, to give you some prospects and ideas.
I think I agree. I want to see her in more stuff because I'm a huge fan of Haim and like their Women in Music Part 3 album. So good. So I was like so hyped for this movie. So I think that's why I'm a little bit more like,
I would love to see.
better.
I would love to see her take on another art house thing, like maybe Nicholas Winding Refn, or maybe you could do Fincher or Scorsese. Like, she is a good actress. I do think that's true. I think that there's a lot riding on her shoulders with this movie, and I think she did a really good job.
The kid was good too.
Yeah.
He was okay.
Well, he's also in real life 19.
No, I know,
he could
and
go
that's why
places.
he was
Yeah.
okay.
I think I liked his friend better. I think he
Jude
did a better
Hill
job.
is like fucking 11, and he was incredible. So
Yeah,
the
true.
19-year-old argument's
Holy,
bullshit.
He was
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
true.
So for me, he was okay.
Next is The Power of the Dog.
Okay, here we go. The Power of the Dog is a 2021 New Zealand-led Western psychological drama film directed and written by Jane Campion. It's based on Thomas Savage's 1967 novel of the same name. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons, Cody Schmidt-McPhee, shot mostly in Royal Otago. It is a New Zealand film. It was filmed in Greece, in the United Kingdom, United States. It covers themes such as love, grief, resentment, jealousy, masculinity, and sexuality.
All right. Power of the Dog. This is one of those movies where the story of its production does play a part for me. I think the fact that Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst are real life partners helps this movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, not in a way where like there have been actors who have played opposite each other before, but they were both nominated and they both earned the fuck out of it. Because especially with Jesse Plemons, he's given so little that he has to do a lot with.
Yeah.
His character is not big. His character is the absence of emotions at
And
times.
he's not in the movie that much,
But
honestly.
he was fucking great.
Yeah, every time he was in
Great.
it, it's like, hell yeah. But
The young boy, I believe he was nominated too. He was also great. So 2 Best Supporting Actor noms from this movie.
Which is crazy.
And, you know, like this movie, I feel like is a good take on a Western that is incredibly accessible for people.
Yeah.
Because the drama is so good. I think back to like the way the drama in Little Women or Pride and Prejudice worked, where it's like all above the cuff and people aren't saying how they're really feeling out loud. Yeah. But this one's so much darker and deeper because of the incredible performance by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
This is a film that definitely benefits from what it's not saying more so than what
Absolutely.
it's actually saying.
The longing stares, the gazes, the
gazes.
nice. But no, seriously, like, you know, when they're flustered, when they're frustrated, it all comes from a place
Benedict
of real reality.
Cumberbatch of it all.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely, it was definitely a bit of a bore at first because they don't give you a lot. Like, this movie's not going to treat you like you're stupid. This movie's going to do things and be like, do you understand it? I'm not going to repeat it.
Yeah,
do you
like-
understand it?
Like, good luck.
I think if you go into this movie ready to watch it, you'll get the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of twists that are really good, in my opinion. I think some of the negative stuff I'd say about it is, for me, the supplementary roles, not the main roles, but like, you know, people who were coming over to the house or other ranch hands. It really felt like they were not in the same movie sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you can't expect everybody to give 1,000% in that regard.
Yeah.
And everybody who was really in this movie, who were real main roles, crushed it.
Yeah.
For me.
I feel like the acting is superb.
That's what this movie has over everything else about it. I mean, the cinematography is great, and the music, I mean, obviously the mood is amazing and kind of almost gothic or dreary. But the acting, you're correct. The acting is where they really brought it.
They definitely were like, that was what saved this movie. Because for me, I felt like I went into this film knowing absolutely nothing besides that it was a Western on Netflix. And I saw probably like 90% of it coming. And I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's a good thing for me, where I'm like, okay, I saw a lot of people talking about it online and being like floored by it. And I was like, I felt like it was kind of obvious.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's,
it was.
I don't know.
Well, not like super
That
obvious.
is hilarious coming from her.
What do you mean?
Okay, whatever. We won't go there. Miss, what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh.
I mean,
Anyway.
I feel like the whole Benedict Cumberbatch like
I want to
storyline was
ask you
obvious.
what happened at the end of the movie to see if you know, but we
No.
can't spoil it. So let it be known that she was plenty confused. Don't listen to her bullshit.
I was plenty confused.
I think that the twists and turns in it are less about the narrative, more about emotional.
Yeah.
Where you would see emotions that were so under the surface in a way that was completely unpredictable. That's where the twists and turns are for this film. Where it's like, wait, you went there based on that, but not there based on this. And it has everything to do with the sensibility and the culture of the time. Where it's like big reactions are out the window. Being upset, out the window.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be high society and classy or do their grunt work and move on with it. And this movie has a great emotional base to flip that on. So I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Next is West Side Story.
Bitch.
West Side Story is a 2021 American musical romantic drama directed and co-produced by Steven Spielberg from the screenplay by Tony Kushner, sorry. It's the second feature-length adaptation of the 1957 stage musical. It stars Ansel Elgort, Rachel Zegler, and her film debut with Ariana DeBose, David Alvarez, Mike Fast, Rita Moreno. Moreno reprises her role from the 1961 film, and it is composed by Leonard Bernstein with lyrics by Stephen Sondheim.
All right, so obviously again, Stephen Sondheim, you know, like he's the GOAT, and he did the original, and it's all incredible. This is a remake,
Yeah.
but
ish.
This is better than the original film.
It is.
And I'm not afraid to say that, because Steven Spielberg is the GOAT. He may not have the single best film of all time, but he has the best Rolodex catalog of films to ever be made. He is the best director working, and possibly the best director of all time. So when I heard that a Steven Spielberg movie was coming out and it was a remake of a classic musical, I thought, well, he's never done a musical before. How's this going to shake out? But he's tackled sci-fi, action, drama, horror. He's tackled everything that you could think of and mastered it. And he's done it again. Because West Side Story, if it wasn't a remake, could very well be the best picture.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into, like, you know, what is and isn't, but this movie is held back solely not on any of its merit, but because another one existed in the past.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit to me. And it's something that people need to get over, because this movie was great. What did you guys think of it?
So I kind of had the pleasure of watching this without having watched the old one, honestly. So I didn't have anything to compare it to, which was kind of nice. I loved it. I had such a good time. I used to think I didn't like musicals. Turns out that's a fucking lie. I love musicals. This was so fun. Ansel Elgort looked great in his pants. Cody, what did you think of this?
I loved it. I 100% agree. It is held back because it's a remake, and that's literally it. It is better than the original by far. I think it's been updated so that it eliminates a lot of the more problematic takes that it took in the 1961
Which is
film.
not a bad thing.
And it actually actively goes against those bad ideas. He literally went, okay, what was the problem with West Side Story? Let me fix it, direct it better, have better performers, and shoot a better movie. And that's what he did. And it was all because he wanted to do it for his dad.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is filmmaking.
I am pissed that Maria did not get a lead actress nom, because she is so fucking good. And she's so incredibly talented, not only as an actress, but as a vocalist, as a dancer. And I am obsessed with the fact that they finally cast not a white girl in this role.
And what's so crazy is Natalie Wood, a white person, won for Maria.
Yep.
And our girl here wasn't even nominated. Ansel wasn't nominated. I saw that coming a million miles away.
Yeah.
But bro, what are you going to tell me about Riff, though, for real? How are you going to explain to me his lack of nomination? That guy was
So
fucking
good.
real. They
So
picked that
good.
dude out of the time period in a fucking time machine.
100%.
Why did they fuck this movie over so bad?
I told you, because it's a
messed
remake.
up.
I'm
I
dead
know.
serious.
It's so stupid. Don't compare it. Oh,
This is something that is going to be talked about for a long time in regards to the argument, what's better, the original or the remake. And what sucks is that one of the things that the original has over it, and by the way, I don't want to always measure them against each other, but that's the reality of the films. Like, that's what people are going to do forever. It's the fact that the original won all these Oscars, and I'm not even sure that West Side Story is going to win a single Oscar.
Yeah.
it should have at least gotten
What Steven
more
Spielberg,
recognition than it did.
you know,
It's
maybe,
fucked up.
but I also do think that if it wasn't Spielberg who directed this, even if it was this good, it wouldn't have even been nominated.
Yeah.
This is a courtesy
That's
nomination.
crazy.
I 100% agree with that. That is 100% exactly what happened, is that I don't know if it's also just because they didn't take it seriously because it was a remake. Not, I don't know.
It's not just that. I
just-
mean, it's literally the prestige of being like, I like the original better,
Yeah.
and I work in the movie industry. That's the movie I saw as a kid. So when voting comes around, I'm not going to like this remake.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
it's
it is.
Steven Spielberg.
I know, and
But
that's why it's
nostalgia-
here. That's why it's
Nostalgia wins over everything, and it's
people
upsetting.
suck.
And let me just talk about some of the scenery displayed here. When he's singing "Something's Coming" and he's closing up, what is the new Doc's name? Shop? Is this still called Doc Shop?
I think
even
it's
though-
still called
Yeah.
Docs.
So he's closing the gate and he's going out on this falsetto note that is sung beautifully
It's so
with
good.
his deep voice. And there's scenes like that, or when they're praying together at that one conservatory place they went to, or whatever it was,
with the light reflecting on their faces,
or the school dance when they're behind the bleachers. This movie
So
is
good.
euphoric and beautiful and so well crafted. And what I'm telling you is, go see it. It's on HBO. It's on Disney Plus. If you're gonna see any movie from this roster, I'm not saying it because it's my favorite. I'm saying this is the best entry level film that I feel like anybody can find something to enjoy in it. It has action, it has
Yeah.
music, it has drama, it's sexy. It's very sexy. And not in the way where it's doing it for just like this vibes. It's the fact that the intensity of these characters and how well they're acting
Yeah.
comes off so real.
Like, it's not like raunchy. It's just good.
You know, the fight between, and we can say this because the movie's actually several years old, but the fight between Tony and Riff and Bernardo with, you know, the knife fight, there is so much tension. And Franny was watching this version of West Side Story for the first time.
Yeah.
So she screamed out loud
I
in the movie
freaked
theater.
out, honestly.
I love that.
I love that I didn't have the context. It makes it so much better. I wish everybody could like wipe their slate clean and go see this West Side Story.
I really only have one negative to say about
What is
the
it?
movie. Now, who's the other guy that's vibing for Maria's attention? I can't remember his name right now.
Oh,
Hold on.
He's
he
Bernardo's
wears
friend.
the glasses.
Yes.
I don't remember his name.
I can't remember. In the original, he was cast as this wimpy, kind of smaller
Chino.
Chino's supposed to be like this aw shucks boy next door.
Yeah.
In this, he's way too hunky. I mean, like, the dude is fucking jacked.
It's like
It's just
a
like,
CW show.
In other words, I think that in that situation they cast Riff perfectly by like not doing like the too hot of casting, but they fucked up Chino. Like, they should have found somebody more real for Chino. But overall, music's great, cinematography's great. The you know, the keep it cool, you know, scene where he's like jumping around. He's like jumping around on these bars and doing like basically stage action in frame, where he's doing like an on-stage production action scene in frame, and it looks incredible. So for me, it was great. What's next?
The page went away. Give me 1 second. Just trying to get it back up. I
You said
was looking at
something.
West Side Story stuff.
We can talk. I think we can talk about the end of this movie, West Side Story.
I fucking loved this
because
movie.
people have seen it. You know,
I wanted it
know.
to end differently.
All right, we won't.
I
We
wanted.
won't.
Okay,
I
I
don't
got
know.
my page back. Sorry.
Okay. Maybe
I
we
wanted
should.
to
We
mention
should
the one
mention
thing that
this.
you mentioned.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So I was a little upset on the song that Maria sings. She does a reprise at the end. And I was like a little upset about the song just because I don't feel like it actually amplifies the situation. Which is the song that they actually did, I don't remember what it's called, is what they actually did in the original musical.
Huh.
But the film adaptation from the original, I think, does do it.
The
better.
original
Okay.
film was it 1962?
61.
61. That version of the end of the film was pretty dynamic.
I want to see it, so I have that to compare it to.
Yeah.
Because I just haven't, and I haven't seen the play.
Just like
So.
there's a place for us, for me,
Yeah.
is just a significantly better song.
Do they play that song in a different part of this
Yes.
movie? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
They stuck.
Yeah.
He stuck closer to what the stage production was,
That's kind of
whereas
cool.
the original film, kind of went in a different direction. Also, like, dude, this movie, just in regards to its dance sequences too, the way everything's in frame, you know, In the Heights came out in June or July of this year.
Yeah.
And
Last
that's
year.
Wow, that's
last
crazy.
year. And for me, like, this is two pretty huge musicals based in New York City, And West Side Story shows you everything that In the Heights got wrong. Not that In the Heights is like a horrible movie. It's just everything it got wrong was perfected in this movie. And what that was is feeling the scope of the city, feeling the realism of a neighborhood. Nothing feels like a soundstage. Nothing feels like an empty walkway. Everyone is in the city with purpose, with meaning. And the neighborhoods feel real. And that's something that the old West Side Story did not conquer. And that's something that In the Heights did not conquer. And many other musicals have a problem with. It looking too much like they're walking around a stage. Just having it shot in the real world the way it is, and then having the establishing shots the way they were done was great. So yeah, last word on West Side Story. My apologies.
Next is King Richard.
Okay, so I saw King Richard.
I did.
They didn't.
You didn't either, Cody, right?
No, I did not.
I wanted to. I ran out of time.
All right, so it was directed. Oh, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah. King Richard is a 2021 American biographical sports drama film directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green and written by Zach Balin. It follows the life of Richard Williams, the father and coach of the famed tennis players Venus and Serena Williams, who were executive producers on the film. It stars Will Smith. Yeah. I didn't get to watch it, but I wish I did because I'm
gonna keep it short.
Really good.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
I want to watch it. Yeah, don't spoil it.
This movie entirely rides on the performance of Will Smith. He does a great job, but as far as like a Best Picture nominee, this for me is the bottom.
Wow.
That doesn't mean that it's bad. It's actually quite good. It's just there's nothing else, in my opinion, that's really drawing me in. Now, the director is working right now on a much anticipated Bob Marley biopic.
What?
And so I'm
have
excited.
to do it.
I think that that's going to be Ronaldo's moment. I think that this is more of just
The prelude?
This isn't because he really hasn't directed much. It's acts more of his induction to like this. Okay, he's a real director conversation. But for me, there stands no chance that unless you're a sports fan, this will be your favorite of the options. Unless you really dig Will Smith. I mean, he's breaking out his Pursuit of Happiness 7 pounds performance here.
Wow.
It's his second Oscar nomination, and he's a fucking tremendous actor. And if he was to win it, it wouldn't upset me. I think it would be totally fine and well-deserved. So that's the best I can say about King Richard. Also, shout out to Erin Cummings. She reviews movies on the internet, too. She was in this movie. Bitch, I loved you in it. It was great. You were so good. Anyway.
And last, but certainly not least, Coda.
Coda is a 2021 coming-of-age comedy drama film written and directed by Cian Heater, an English-language remake of the 2014 French film La Famille Bélier. Sure. It stars Amelia Jones as the Coda, child of a deaf adult, the only hearing member of a deaf family who struggles to balance her attempts to help her family's struggling fishing business and her own life aspirations.
Coda. What a sleeper hit this was for me. Can somebody pull up the cast real fast for me? Just in like while I'm getting onto this. So this movie, an Apple TV Plus, original. Although it is playing in theaters for people right now, so you can check it out. There's somebody in this movie. Hold on one second. I think it's Eugenio Derbez. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but
Is he the teacher?
yes,
Yeah.
I hate him in everything but this movie.
Yeah.
He really showed me in this movie that he's a great actor. And he just is a little wild, and sometimes you have to point him in the right direction.
This was a good role then.
I think that this, and then I think it's Sean. What I think I have her name right here.
Sirkin. Something.
She did such a great job directing the living fuck out of this movie.
Heater, something like
Sean,
that.
yeah, Sean Heater, and she did a great job writing the fuck out of this movie, and it was a real fucking delight. I think that this movie has, even if it doesn't win anything, it stands to be a cult classic. It will absolutely develop that, because when movies are this good, they catch people's attention. If this movie was not this good, and it wouldn't even be nominated because of how small of a story it is.
Yeah.
And how personal of a story it is. I just think that this movie is on this list based totally on its merit, And for that, you should definitely see it. And Troy Kotsur, is that his name?
Yep.
First deaf actor to ever be nominated for a best actor. I mean, there was an actress who's also in this movie.
Yeah.
She won an Oscar for, I think, The King and I, or The King's Speech. Sorry.
Wow.
And she was great in this, but he was incredible and brought me to tears. And I don't want to get too much because we're at the end of this list, so I can say this now. He is my favorite performance of the year.
Wow.
I mean,
dead
yeah.
certain.
Honestly, yeah.
Because nobody invoked, I mean, I'm about ready to cry just talking about it. Nobody invoked the kind of emotion and realism that he did. This character is entirely real. Do you know what I mean? In the sense that you're watching it and it just, none of it feels written. None of it feels fake. This movie plays like a reality show because of the earnest and realness of its characters. And he, by far, he steals the show in every scene he's in. He is the best actor in those scenes, in every scene he's in. And he deserves to win. I know that we'll get to that stuff later. We're at the end of the list. But he fucking deserves to win. And if he doesn't win, and this whole thing's a joke, but he likely, we'll see. But incredible.
That wraps up the first category.
Well, what did you think?
We don't even talk about Coda?
I know. I was just saying, like, yeah, true.
You haven't said anything about what you thought of it. I spoke so much of what they were all feeling that they were like, correct, moving on.
Oh, I have so much to say.
Please do. No. Please do. Because also, this movie is like, it has fame qualities while at the same time having, like, the best, like, it's like if somebody took Fame and Waves and made them into one movie.
I love this movie. It's a great coming of age story. I like that there's certain tropes that it doesn't play into. I really enjoy that. I like the representation of it, having actual like deaf actors in it, correct? Mm-hmm. And the one that you're just talking about.
And the mother as well. And I believe the brother and every person who is deaf in this movie is really deaf.
And it just has a lot to say. And I think it has a good message about like being true to yourself. And I think everybody should fucking watch this movie. It's one you could watch with your family. It's one you could watch with friends. You could watch this with anybody. It's so accessible.
This is one of those great coming of age stories where it's not just a lesson to those who are coming of age.
Exactly.
But those who are around those that are coming of age.
Yeah.
And what your responsibility
or just people in general.
Is. Like as a parent, I feel like this is going to teach people real lessons about like independence and growth and, like being a teenager. I know this is going to sound so coy and cliche, but being a teenager is a lot harder than people give it credit for. And I think this movie really shows like the hardship that this main character went through. And she's a fucking great singer too. And I loved all the music in this movie too. And the silent scenes where I won't get into details, but there's use of silence because of these characters, being deaf. There's use of silence in these films that's incredible.
Haunting, honestly. Like, there's moments where you just get goosebumps. Like, watch this fucking movie.
And I'm like semi-fluent in sign language and have been actively involved with the deaf community for a long time, interp theater. And I will also say that this does show a side of the deaf community that's very real that some people do consider toxic. And it puts deaf people in a real light in that way where it's not just like, oh, they're overcoming everything. It's like, well, let's talk about the negatives of the culture.
Yeah.
And let's talk about maybe some of the more prejudiced views that some of the people in this culture have. And it's great. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Cody.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think this is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
It is.
That's awesome.
So absolutely good. I'm not going to say too much, but there's a scene involving a truck bed. And that
God.
is that
You're gonna
is
make me
it.
fucking cry. Man.
That is it. What's weird is I have like a novel I've been working on since I was 18 that's very similar to this, minus the deaf part. Mm-hmm. And so to watch how beautifully executed this is just a home run. Like, I am so excited that features like this not only get made and have a viewership, but get nominated for these kinds of prestigious awards.
The most prestigious award.
Yeah.
I mean, in the United States anyway.
Exactly.
It is the most, I mean,
that's nuts.
And it won many other selections and has done great on the awards circuit because of nothing else other than the merit of the film. Because this movie says nothing Hollywood or professional about it. Yeah. It's just incredibly well crafted and a great story to watch with your family.
Yeah. It feels real. Like that's the only word I can put it in is it's real.
And like the moments where it like goes for your tears are not like, they're not pulling at you. Yeah. It's just they've genuinely built up these moments, and if it will fall out of you.
Yeah,
it will shed off of you. You will absolutely cry if you get invested in this movie, and if you didn't cry, you weren't invested enough. That's my personal opinion.
So beautiful. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I could watch this movie like 10 more times. And
Same.
It's like a 2-hour movie.
I know, it's great. It's a great movie,
and it doesn't feel its length, unlike some of the.
That's very true.
Unlike some of them,
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about some of the more the larger the films. We'll get into the nomination predictions right after this conversation. I want to talk about the host situation. Oh. When they wanted 3 hosts, we're fucking right here, baby.
Yeah, what the fuck?
No, but seriously though, there were so many different talks about who they chose the host, and then they ended up getting people that I hate to say this because I love Wanda Sykes and other people that are involved in this, but these choices are kind of hated by all. I mean,
if you don't know, it's Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer, and Regina Hall, which
are mostly all really great. And listen, I can't get over Amy Schumer. I'm sorry. Right? It's not that I hate her.
Don't joke.
That's pretty tough, but not even just that. It's just if Wanda Sykes is considered film, fine, I'll accept that. Amy Schumer is not a film person. She's not. She's been in 2 movies.
Yeah.
She's not related to film in any way. And I've always felt that this show is about the movies, and it should have some level of movie star involved. So there's that, or at least mega star. Like she's also like kind of irrelevant, and I mean, sure, maybe this will boost her relevancy, but like I'm not here to have the Oscars help her. I want a host that'll help the fucking Oscars, because the views are down. They're pre-recording things for the show ahead of time. Things are not going well over at the Oscars. Let's get some great hosts. Some of the hosts that were talked about were the 3 Spider-Men.
That is my pick. That is what I wanted.
Yeah, we should go through our picks.
Yeah,
first. I just assumed that your pick wouldn't be the most like talked about.
Yeah, it is because I
want you to find something more obscure. I want you to think. Of something more obscure.
I just love the idea of it. Okay, fine. I wish Batman was 2021 because then I would say Pats and Kristen Stewart do a little Twilight reunion.
Oh no!
If we're doing a trio, we could bring in some Taylor Lautner and his dad bod.
You know what's crazy? That's actually a better idea than they gave, and it's still a terrible idea.
I think it's a great idea. And it would have gotten people hyped for Batman this year.
Maybe next year.
Because Batman's going to be, I'm sure, nominated next year.
I wouldn't be so sure.
We'll see.
I'd love it to be. So one of the other hosts that were talked about, and these people were very actively trying to make it happen, was the cast of Only Murders in the Building, which is Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, and what was the guy? Martin Short. I always want to say Martin Sheen, but I know it's Short. And Martin Short, who are all incredible performers. I mean,
good.
Steve Martin's one of the few living people with a legacy Oscar.
Yeah.
And obviously Martin Short is an incredible song and dance man.
Yeah.
And Selena Gomez is a cultural icon to our age group and will drive in the younger views. So everything had its purpose, and they decided on Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer, and Regina Hall.
Don't know why.
People that no matter how many times we say it, I'll still forget who it's going to be.
It seems like a misstep.
Who would you have picked?
So I was looking at past like presenters of just past awards, and one of my favorite ones was the idea of Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt from The Devil Wears Prada, and there's like this really funny like back and forth with Meryl Streep in the crowd when she was nominated. And so I think it would be really interesting just like to have those two, maybe even Meryl Streep. I mean, what's up, Meryl?
What's up, Meryl?
But
I mean,
I
she
just like
killed
the
it this
idea of
year.
Good, Meryl.
and it's a little bit of like what you said. I like the idea of reuniting a cast that maybe has like
because
a cult
everything
following.
is so about that right now. Like
Yeah.
they're reviving so many like
Exactly.
different products.
And I think that's why I like the Only Murders idea so much, is because like they all have this amazing chemistry. They were all kind of like a sleeper hit almost in the
Right.
beginning of last year. And so I would really love to see someone like that. So that's why I was like, I think Anne Hathaway would do a good job because she's very like presentery, and then Emily Blunt's just fucking hilarious. So I think that would be
Yeah.
I think
fair.
that'd be a good pair.
That's fair. For me, I think I would want to go with, okay, who out in the film world has been saving the box office, right? Because that's really what we need to talk about, is how
Yeah.
there's like 4 films that single-handedly saved the film
Yeah.
industry. And those being Spider-Man, people already talked about that option.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great option.
Loved it.
I would also very much love Taika Waititi and Ryan Reynolds from Free Guy.
That's so funny.
I think Taika Waititi is obviously he's a performer. He's a formerly nominated Best Screenplay Writer and Best
Yeah.
Picture. He is like an incredible comedian. And then Ryan Reynolds is the most relevant
directed,
movie star
like-
in the world.
Yep.
He directed like your favorite movie.
One of my favorite movie from 2019.
Yeah, but I think it's still just like on top of your list in general.
It's in the top 50, no
Yeah.
question. But I watch a lot of fucking movies.
You
people.
really do. So do we.
But Taika Waititi is one of the best new directors working, and the best part is that he is a performer. So Ryan Reynolds and him would be good. And then maybe if we were gonna, I was thinking, okay, they have these women hosting for the first time. Well, what women do I think are like incredibly talented and I would want to host something like this? And like, if you're gonna grab like just some random women, get like a trio, or get Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock back.
Oh,
They're
That'd be
so
so
funny.
fun. They did
And
so good
they are
together.
both Oscar nominated actresses. So they are official actresses that
I would
actually
love that.
work. So
The Heat 2, make it happen.
the Heat 2 Hunt for the Red Falls Killer, please. bring it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
But yeah, so those are the ones that I would go with. Or
Love that.
yeah, like I said, the all female cast. If you were to make me pick just like having a single host though, I think Tom Holland is so relevant right
yeah.
now.
I like that.
Then, you know, like if you were just gonna have a singular host, he'd be the man. But just bring back song and dance bands. Bring back people who are in the movies, but you know, can do a performance.
Ariana
People
Grande.
like Hugh Jackman and Neil Patrick Harris, or you know, people of that caliber. I mean, fuck, even Bruce Willis was on Broadway. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'd say J-Law, because she's been out of the eye for a while.
Well, she only came back in the eye for this movie,
and that's
though.
why I want to see more of her.
I just
That's all
don't
I'm
think
saying.
I don't think she'd be interested, because I
Oh
think
well, duh.
this is for like a cultural significant thing.
She did
was in
Jimmy
this
Kimmel
movie.
once, and I think had a panic attack. I think she's good, but like I would like that in my wildest dreams.
Okay, all right. So let's go over the nominations and who we think's gonna win for what.
Oh, okay.
I gotta pull up my list.
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
excited.
Franny, I'm gonna tell you what this category is, and then you can tell me what the nominations are.
Okay.
All right. So the first one we're looking to find out is we're gonna start with Best Animated Feature. So what are the nominations for that?
Encanto, Luca, Flea, The Mitchells versus the Machines, Raya, and The Last Dragon.
So, all right. So right off the top, I think Encanto is likely to win.
Yeah.
I think it's basically a lock. If I had to give a second possibility, I would go with Flea.
Okay. So I really liked Raya and the Last Dragon, but I don't think I don't feel like it's had the longevity that I think Disney was hoping for. So I agree. I think my number one is Encanto, and then I actually think number two is Luca, because Luca had this little moment where I think it was Die Hard.
But
Really?
the only issue with Luca
I didn't
is
see
that
it.
Disney may have 3 nominations, but they're only pushing 1.
Yeah.
And that's Encanto. So, and that also had the biggest pop moment. Like, people are still listening to the music.
Yep.
It's got a nomination for best song. So, and best score, which is fucking crazy.
It's like the biggest song since I think Let It Go from Frozen.
So there is no chance. This is one of the locks. This is you can stamp my guarantee on this. If it's anything other than Encanto, I will be fucking startled.
Wow.
All right, live action short.
I didn't tell you mine.
Oh yeah, what was yours?
Oh, sorry. I thought you did say Encanto.
No, I mean, yeah, I unfortunately didn't watch any of these. So I'm going to go with Encanto. I think that's
So you did say.
Yeah.
There's some of these that we don't have an
Yeah.
informed opinion on, by the way.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, there's only so much we could have watched in time, and I'm shocked we got through all the best pictures. So, all right, let's do live action short.
Okay, so that is The Long Goodbye, Nani, Please Hold, On My Mind, and The Dress.
The Long Goodbye is what I think will win.
That's what I
I'm
also
not
had.
officially ready to say a lock, but Riz Ahmed, who is a very popular actor and did just Sound of Metal just last year, and that movie was nominated for Best Picture.
I literally saw he did Sound of Metal, and I was like, that's a title I know. Check. That's the one.
So, and he is actively campaigning for this movie. And ever since Nightcrawler, I've had my eye on Riz Ahmed as a guy who, other than Star Wars Rogue One, I believe he was in that. Other than that movie, it seems like he's a guy who just picks the movie he wants to do.
I like
And
that.
I like his taste, so
Yeah.
I like this short more than likely. I haven't seen it yet, but I have a pretty good feeling. Let's do Best Original
Wait,
Song
what do you
next.
think, Fran?
I agree. I didn't see this stuff. Best
Yeah.
original what?
Best Original Song. It might be Best Song in a Motion Picture. It might be titled differently in the nominee list. She's looking for it. Hold on.
Yeah.
want me to
Went
say it?
too far. I'm on it.
I can list out some of the nominees right now.
Yeah, let's not.
There's No Time to Die from Billie Eilish.
Yep.
There is what was it by Beyonce? What was it called?
Okay, it's No Time to Die.
No Time to Die.
Dos Arguitas from Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Which
What
is
movie
from
that?
Encanto.
Okay. Somehow You Do from the motion picture Four Good Days. Be Alive from the motion picture King Richard. That's the Beyonce one.
Yep.
And then Down to Joy. Van Morrison.
That's from
Belfast?
Belfast. All right, so I think Encanto is absolutely going to get it. I think that there is a slight chance that No Time to Die, based on the pedigree of it being a Bond song, could do it. And then there is the outside baseball chance of Beyonce because she's going for that EGOT.
Yep.
She is one of the most talented performers of all time.
Yep.
And there are people who will vote for her in order for her to
Get the EGOT.
get that EGOT. And also, the thing about this year with films, it's not the strictest year with films and level of quality. But as far as Best Original Song goes, this is a pretty steep year and a hard year to contend in.
Yeah.
So I think that this is totally up in the air. But my bet is the song from Encanto.
Mine is No Time to Die, Billie Eilish.
I hope it's that.
I
That's the one I
think-
want to win.
Skyfall is one of my favorite Bond songs of all time. So it's just, it feels very in the same vein for me where I'm like, I feel like it deserves it. But also my second was going to be Beyonce because of that
I
EGOT.
think the
Right?
only reason I have doubt about it being Billie Eilish's No Time to Die song is that the score was warped into this song. This song is reincorporated in the score. But yet the score for Bond was not nominated.
Interesting.
And that just gives me vibes that this is a bit of a courtesy nomination, that the fact that so much time has passed since the song was even originally released will lose some of that attention that it has. But it could very well take it. I mean, nobody thought that Sam was a Sam Smith for Writing on the Wall.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that was going to win, and it won. So
Agreed.
it's a Bond song, and with a film history that rich, it could go either way.
Agreed. What do you think, Fran?
I wanted to win so bad. I love Bond and I love this song and I like this movie a lot too. And I feel like it really goes well with the movie. It did its job.
Okay, cool. So let's do, I agree. Let's do international feature film.
International feature film. Okay, that's Flea, Drive My Car, Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom, The Hand of God, The Worst Person in the World.
Drive My Car.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
just like a fucking like less than 1% chance that somehow Flea builds over, like, because remember, this is voted on also by the international members of the Academy, so you don't know how everyone felt about these foreign films, about these foreign language films. But if it's nominated for Best Picture and Flea's not, it's hard to see how it could even be possible that it wouldn't win.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
There you go. That's about how I feel about it. I mean, maybe Flea could win. If Flea wins Best Animated Film, it'll also win this. That's how I feel about it. If it doesn't, it won't.
Yeah, I agree. I think Drive My Car, deserves it. It's just crazy to think about, like, how a foreign audience, like, if they like it as much as we do, I guess.
I mean, it's not totally determined on that, obviously, but, like, that is a factor.
I mean, it is, yeah. It's just, we're, like, I feel like America's so into Korean culture.
This is Japanese.
Japanese.
She's stuck on Parasite, people. Ignore her fuck up there.
Oops.
There is Korean.
There is
language.
Korean. There's Korean in it.
I feel like
it's hard because
especially
they
like the
travel
year
all
of
over.
like Squid Games and everything. Like people are like looking for this kind of content.
K-pop. Sorry.
K-pop.
Anyway,
Blackpink.
Blackpink.
Let's do. Okay.
So
I'm sorry.
I also agree. I think it's going to be Drive My Car, and I think spoiler. I think this is just because I don't think it's going to win Best Picture. And so I wanted to give it a little nod somewhere. I also secretly have the feeling it might be Flea.
So when we get to screenplays, I'll give my assessment of why I think you could very well be right.
Okay.
I think that you're on to something.
Okay, cool.
All right, so let's do Best Documentary Feature.
Best documentary feature. So that's Ascension, Writing with Fire, Flea, Attica, and Summer of Soul.
Flea.
You think Flea? I think Flea here too.
Because
I think that
Flea
makes
is
sense.
so good. It's been nominated in sections that you wouldn't even believe a movie could be nominated in. And I've been hearing about Flea every day forever from the film community. If it doesn't win a single nomination anywhere, it will win this nomination.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine that another documentary is going to take it. Now, could it? Definitely. I think that the Flea fandom though will fucking shit their pants because if it doesn't win this, it also won't win anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, from all accounts, it sounds like it deserves a win. This is definitely like on my list that I want to go back and watch.
I have a secret dark horse. I actually think it might be Summer of Soul. Because this is one of the ones I've seen the most campaigning for.
I have seen a lot about Summer of Soul, but you
Yeah.
have to consider that now Summer of Soul, correct me if I'm wrong, that is an English language documentary,
Yes.
correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's being marketed heavily in markets that which speak its language.
Yep.
So I do think that you're right that it stands a chance. It's probably the second most likely, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna give it to Flea.
And I can see that. Definitely.
So we will see. I think you're taking a long shot on that though, and I think you know that.
I know, but I don't want all of our things to be the same.
No, I get
So
that. But I'm
wanted
just
to
pointing
throw
it
out
out
there.
so later when people are like, "What the fuck is he stupid?" It'll be like, "Well, no, he knows this is an off shot."
Yeah.
But you're also totally right that
Yeah.
it totally could win. So
We'll see.
That's the thing. You just never
see.
know. All right, cool. I was originally going to read these topics, but I think I'm just going to say that for best animated short film and best short documentary, it's a toss up for us. We haven't seen either or.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to try to take a guess at it. If you guys have
I will.
guesses, go ahead.
So for best animation short film, I put Beast because I like the Alyssa Edwards meme where she goes, Beast! And then for best short documentary, I put Audible because I like their audiobook streaming service. So thank you. Please sponsor
there you
us.
go.
All right, we ready to move on?
Yes.
Best costume
Costume design.
design.
That's correct. Best costume design. This is oh boy. This is a big one because the listing has already got some people in here
Yeah.
upset.
Should we go ahead and go into it, or should we should wait until the nominations?
Let's
are out?
read the nominations
Yeah.
out and then
'Cause
you
I'm
can
livid.
scream and cry right
I'm
after.
livid. Okay.
Okay, so it's best costume design is what
Yes.
we're going to?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. The tablet does not like me. Best. And it's not makeup and hairstyling. It's costume design. Okay.
There you
Nightmare
go.
Alley, Dune, Cruella, Serrano?
You want to read it?
Serrano?
Yeah, I think that's Serrano.
And West Side Story.
Okay. Go ahead and say what you think was totally jiffed
Okay.
here.
Why was Licorice Pizza not nominated?
Right?
Absolutely.
Why
agree.
was Spencer not nominated? Why were the Ricardos not nominated? I feel like there were so much snubbing in this little
Belfast?
section.
Belfast?
When I
Yeah.
wrote this list, we hadn't seen Belfast yet. That's the only reason why I hadn't seen
When
it.
I was watching it, I was thinking that the whole time too. Like
So
they
good.
nailed it, and it's in black and white, and you can still see how dynamic the costume design is in black and motherfucking white.
So beautiful.
I think this is such a fucking... Here's the thing. This is the problem with the Oscars, all right? We have nine Best Picture nominations?
Yeah.
We could really have 6. We have 5 Best Costume Design nominations.
We could have
really
9.
have 20.
Yeah.
Okay? And the reason for that is the costume design this year was so good, it is hard to even separate because at this point you're splitting hairs. Who pulled off which one more perfectly? I mean, if there's anything that we should be thanking in the film industry, it's hair and makeup and costume design.
Yep.
These people are actual magicians who bring these movies to life. Sure, I know you love Guillermo del Toro and his directing and he's great, but the person who made Nightmare Alley awesome was these costume designers. Does that mean it's going to win? No. I think it's down to either Dune or West Side Story. It's a 50-50 split. West Side Story could win it just to give West Side Story something.
that was literally my thought process.
And because that actually is one of the things that sticks out about the film
Yeah.
to new viewers. Because one of the things that didn't have very well in the original is costume design. And if you try to argue that that one's better, you're a fool. So it's Dune or West Side Story for me. It is a 50-50 split. I could see it going either way.
I agree with you that I could see it going either way, but I want West Side Story to win, so that makes me think that Dune's gonna win. Honestly.
I think if I had to like actually pick one, there was a gun to my head, I'd say West Side Story.
Interesting. I think I agree with that. And
But
I think
here's
it's
the
just
thing.
because they have to give it something.
It could go
This
anywhere.
is where I'm at.
If this went to Nightmare Alley, I'd be like, great. If this went to what was some of the other ones? If this went
Dune,
to
Cruella.
if this went to
Cruella was actually
if this
really
went
good.
to Cruella, I'd be
Cruella was
happy.
really
I
good.
want to see that.
It's on Disney Plus. We can watch.
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
But-
Its costume design is very beautiful, especially since like that is an integral part to
It's
its
such
story.
a like gaudy outfit
And
too. It's
is-
got to be done right.
I mean, where was that? I mean, Power of the Dog even was a great costume design and
Yeah.
very realistic if that's what you were going for.
Yep.
There was great costumes this year because there was a lot of period pieces and fantasies that came out. Because here's the thing, we're talking about all this costume stuff. Nobody's even mentioned any of the superhero films that also have amazing
Yeah.
costuming.
Like
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
amazing outfits and things of
Yeah.
that nature. So yeah, if it went to any of these nominations, it's a success for me. I think the biggest jib though was being the Ricardos. They fucked that up really bad. Being the Ricardos definitely should have been nominated. All right, so let's move on. Sorry, I felt that
Best
one was emotional.
originals.
For me.
I'm sorry. Best cinematography.
Yes, best cinematography.
Yeah.
Nightmare Alley, Dune, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, West Side Story.
All right, it's down to either Dune or Power of the Dog with a slight, I'm talking like less than 1% chance of Nightmare Alley.
Okay.
And the reason is because the Guillermo movies always look beautiful. The cinematographer is one of the best in the business. And the fact is they're not basing this movie on any other merit. They're not basing this award off anything but cinematography. So it's going to go to Dune, Power of the Dog, or Nightmare Alley.
Why the fuck wasn't Belfast?
It's just not. It's nothing in comparison to these.
But it was-
I'm sorry. I love Belfast, but the cinematography in these films.
I'd
It was
see
so good.
I'd see a greater argument for Drive My Car to be in this list.
Honestly,
definitely.
no. Like, I mean, not in my opinion, but
Oh,
I
really?
get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think The Power of the Dog.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's this scene where Benedict Cumberbatch is laying in the grass with his handkerchief, and it is so absolutely beautiful.
If there was
that
a gun to my
it-
head, I'd pick Dune.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
I
I,
just-
think Dune's
yeah.
gonna win it, but I want The Power of the Dog to
I
win.
think it's going to be Power of the Dog. That's just my opinion. Well, actually, it depends on if Power of the Dog gets Best Picture. I don't know.
I don't think it's
Well,
gonna
no,
win Best Picture.
I
We'll
don't.
see.
I don't think it does. Usually, like,
For me, it does.
oh, okay, fair
For
enough.
me, it does.
Fair enough. But I feel like there have been many, many times where cinematographer was one movie and wasn't even near Best Picture. So,
Yeah.
like 1917 is a perfect example of that, and that's exactly the kind of movie we're talking about. So, I hear what you're saying, though. All right, so what was the best original score?
Best original score.
Best original score.
Dude,
Dude, I can't. Dude, the fact that Encanto, like,
Which, yeah, that's number one. Encanto, Don't Look Up, Dune, The Power of the Dog, Madres Perilous.
I don't know. I think Penelope Cruz is in that movie. I don't remember how to pronounce it.
Okay.
But all right.
Encanto.
Encanto stands a really good chance. I think that
I just don't care.
Don't Look Up has a
movie.
great jazzy score.
That's my pick. Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up.
I love the score.
Has a
on
great
that.
jazzy score.
I like the use of like I like the use of like the headphones in the beginning with the score. Like
That's cool.
it sets the mood like the entire time, and it's such a like juxtaposition too with what the movie's about.
I feel like if you're gonna give
And
Don't Look
is
Up
Power of the
something,
Dog
it's
on this list, right?
yeah,
Yes.
Power of the Dog.
Power of the Dog or Encanto is what I'm thinking. There is the chance. There is like yet again an outside baseball chance that Dune could walk away with it. I just don't know. If they're separating it, you know, the art from the artist a little bit, and they're just looking at just the score, nothing else about the movie. I do think that people who make scores see the majesty that is Dune's score. So I could easily see it becoming Dune, but I think it's going to be Encanto or Power of the Dog. But it should be Don't Look Up.
Yeah, I like the idea of Don't Look Up.
All right. Best visual effects. This one is a lock already. I'm just going to tell you right now. I know who it's going to be.
Okay, I have it. It's Dune, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi, and The Legend of the Ten Rings.
Dune, lock.
Really?
I'll bet my life on it.
I love Shang-Chi, and I completely think it deserves it, but I think No Time to Die.
Dune.
You think Dune?
Dune, locked.
I think Dune, and I actually agree. I think second runner-up for me is Shang-Chi. And I think
Dune.
it was so beautifully
I hated
done.
Dune.
But I feel like Dune has overwhelmed with the amount of hype it has that it's going to overtake.
It has the best visual effects of the year.
There were some
It's so-
sketch moments, I'll say.
Dude,
In my
but we're
opinion.
talking about a 3-hour
Yeah,
movie that
agreed.
makes you feel like you're actually in the fucking desert.
The sandworm stuff, 10 out of 10.
I mean, and it's a lock. It's a lock. It's going to be Dune, and Dune does deserve it. If Dune deserves anything, it's his visual effects. You can shit on whatever you want about it. And you
I
can
guess
say,
that's
and I
fair.
agree sometimes, because the reason why some of it looks wonky is because they're reaching so much further than anybody's ever reached.
Agreed.
So, full props to the visual effects team of Dune.
Yeah.
They deserve the trophy. They worked their fucking fingers to the bone and made the best visual effects of the year.
Best makeup and hairstyling.
Best makeup and hairstyling.
By the way, thanks you guys for staying this long. There's like, hopefully some of you are watching to this point. That'd be great.
Yes.
They
Thanks.
definitely are.
I hope
people
so.
are super into this content.
I hope so.
The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Dune, House of Gucci, Cruella, Coming to America. Dune's gonna fucking sweep on these.
You're
It's so
wrong.
annoying.
You're
You
wrong.
think
I don't
Dune-
agree.
This section, and I say this knowing that Coming to America's on the list, could go to anybody.
Really?
Dead
I don't
certain.
know a lot of these movies.
I personally would give it to Tammy Faye,
Same.
with second being Dune. I think though it could go to anyone, and I mean like even Cruella, even Coming to America.
literally have Cruella.
Wow.
I think
I want to watch this movie now.
the integral part of that story of that movie
It's nothing
is its
but
fashion.
costume design and hair and makeup.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
literally a fashion show movie.
That is 100%
It's
true.
like, you know, when
It's like The Devil Wears Prada being nominated for this award.
Okay.
when Tom Ford did that Jake Gyllenhaal picture. Fuck, what is it called? I can't remember right now. Doesn't matter. Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this movie. Cruella is like a PG version of that, where it's basically just a fashion show movie.
Nice.
That's how it feels.
That's
I get
fun.
that that's
It's
not
beautiful.
what's literally going on, but all the costume design and the makeup in every scene, it could easily go to that. The makeup, the aged down and aged up makeup of Coming to America is next level and
yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And so everything on that list, totally possible. I would give it to Tammy Faye. For just Jessica Chastain alone looks fucking crazy in that movie.
Love that.
All right, best adapted screenplay.
Okay. The Lost Daughter, Dune, Drive My Car, The Power of the Dog, Coda.
All right, I've got something controversial to say here.
Okay.
If Power of the Dog / or Drive My Car doesn't win this category, they will not win Best Picture.
Really?
Okay.
If they do, if either of them do, they have a 50% shot of winning.
Okay.
Wow.
I can see that.
It's so if it's not Power of the Dog or it's not Drive My Car, neither of them will win Best Picture. I'm saying that
Wow.
definitively.
I'm excited to see if you're right.
What do I think had the best actual adapted screenplay? What was the list again? Could you read it one more time?
The Lost Daughter, Dune, Drive My Car, The Power of the Dog, Coda.
I would give it to Coda.
Yeah, Coda
That's
felt
what-
so
yeah.
real.
Just because the script is very simplistic, but accomplishes everything it needs to. And also, Power of the Dog and Drive My Car are also both really great, and I get why people.
I was
want
going to
them
say,
win.
a lot of people have been talking about how Drive My Car is like one of the first times a Murakami story has actually been like well adapted. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's that. I hope it's Coda.
Yeah,
That's what I hope.
But I don't think it will be Coda.
I don't
I'm
either.
going to go ahead and say Coda is the least likely. Or actually, probably The Lost Daughter is the least likely, although that is a historic film in its own right, and we'll get to that with the acting awards. But yeah, I mean, if neither of those two take it, they can kiss their trophy goodbye. It's not going to be them. So let's do best original screenplay.
Don't Look Up, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, The Worst Person in the World, King Richard.
Belfast.
Yeah,
Belfast.
Belfast.
Has it. I'm going to go ahead and say 99% lock. The only situation where Belfast doesn't win is if people hype into the PTA of it all and vote in Licorice Pizza. Those are the two options. Those are the only two options. And it's going to go to Belfast. And yeah,
Better.
Basically, I'm just going to make this point now. We'll get to what you guys think about the picture stuff in a second. But if Belfast wins this and it doesn't go up against either Power of the Dog, if Power of the Dog and or Drive My Car don't win,
Yeah.
Belfast will be Best Picture.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Anything can happen. But right now, I think Belfast, if it wins this award and those two don't win their award, it's Best Picture.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Best supporting actor.
All right. What are the noms?
Troy Kotsur. That's the guy from Coda.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Smith McPhee, J.K. Simmons, Claire
Oh, I think it's like Syrian Hines.
Syrian Hines, and Jesse Plemons.
All right. I'm just going to say this. Troy Kotsur, although he should win, is the fourth most likely.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, that fucking sucks. He deserves it.
I'd say it goes Syrian Hines or whatever, Kieran Hines, however you pronounce his name, is the most likely.
For Belfast?
For Belfast.
Who was he in Belfast?
Wasn't he the older man?
The grandpa?
The grandpa?
Okay. I mean, I could see that.
Or-
he was really good.
Yeah, that was him, right?
I think so.
That's who's gonna. Yeah, that's him. That is him. That's who I thought it was when I wrote this. Kofi Schmidt McPhee.
He did good.
He's the second most likely, and then like
Third.
J.K. Simmons for being the Ricardos. Some people are saying that it's his best performance since Whiplash,
Interesting.
and his performance along with Javier Bardem's is the only reason the movie's relevant.
Oh.
So I think J.K. Simmons has the outside baseball chance, but it's between Kofi and Syrian. I'll never pronounce his name correctly. I'm sorry. And that's how I feel about it. I don't think there's really any arguments about it. Troy would be amazing if he won. Sure, maybe there's like a 1% chance, but probably not.
He's my pick, and I'm not giving you anyone else because he's who I think deserves
He's
it.
who
He
should
deserves
win.
it.
He's who
And
should
we
win.
all agree on that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he is who's going to win. I mean, let's just be real. That does not mean that at all.
Best
Okay.
supporting actress. Here we go.
This is the tightest racket in the
I know
whole
this one's
words.
big. This one's big.
Sorry.
It's raining outside. Can you guys hear
It's
it?
raining. Okay. Best Supporting Actress: Kirsten Dunst, Ariana DeBoy, Jessie Buckley, Anjanelle Ellis,
Ingenue Ellis.
Judi Dench.
Okay, we got ourselves, in my opinion, a hardcore 3-way tie.
Yeah.
Really?
For me,
Ew.
now you guys could disagree. I think you guys are good. I think this category is so insane. You guys will be totally different than I am. All right, Ariana DeBose, absolutely my pick.
Same.
Absolutely who I think could very well win.
Same.
Kirsten Dunst is also very possibly the winner of this award. She is somebody who has been historically mistreated by Hollywood, has had historical folly with Hollywood. It is the ultimate triumph story, and she deserves it. And then Jessie Buckley would be a historic win because it'd be, I believe, the second time ever that two people in the same Oscar award season were both nominated for playing the same character. And if she wins and the other person wins, I believe that'll be a first time ever. So it'll be a historic win, and she did a great job in a movie that is not truly that amazing. So I would say those three. But I mean, it could be Judi Dench.
Yeah.
Could be Penelope Cruz. It could be whoever. I mean, or not Penelope Cruz. Who was the fifth one? Penelope Cruz is later on the list. Ingenue Ellis. Dude, she was a delight for King Richard.
Yeah.
There's just a solo scene out there that you can watch of just her performance for the Oscar bit, and I've watched it like a million times.
Who was she in the movie?
You got to see it.
Ah, fuck.
It'll be on HBO tomorrow.
My pick's Ariana. I think she killed it as Anita. And sorry, the end.
That's mine too.
That's
And then I
who
guess
I
my
want to
second
win.
pick
That's
would
who I
be-
think will win.
My second pick would be Kirsten Dunst. She did a good job.
I could
in
see
this
that.
movie.
She was really great.
Judi Dench, man, if she took home this trophy, would I be upset?
No.
No.
Because
Like,
she
these
was
are all
she
fine
deserved it.
choices.
she was great in Belfast. I mean, great in Belfast. Like, she stole the show, and it's weird to think that like the grandfather will win and she'll lose when I think they both so equally added something to the movie.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
that'd be wild. It would feel almost uneven in that way. All right,
we
best
go.
supporting actress.
No, we
Or
were
sorry, best lead actor. Ooh, this one is
Yeah. Here we go.
This is a fucking category, my
Here
friends.
we
This
go.
this year is not necessarily the best movies, but I'll be damned if it's not the best acting.
Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom. Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog. Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos. Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth. Will Smith for King Richard.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I cannot. I have no idea.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Nope. Could be anybody.
Could be
I
anybody.
refuse to even guess because at first I thought, well, Denzel was like the only one I wouldn't think of. And then I remembered all the amazing times I've seen Denzel act. And then I watched some of Macbeth on Apple TV. And it could be anybody. Will Smith could take it. Andrew Garfield could take it for the movie that a lot of people felt like should have been nominated.
That's what I was about to say. Is my vote is Andrew Garfield because I think that movie was hardcore snubbed when it comes to Best Picture.
But Javier Bardem as Ricky Ricardo is a completely transformative and amazing role for him.
Yeah.
Dude, Will Smith, bro. That there's no way to do it. It's just too much. I can't tell you. I have no idea.
Wow.
No clue.
Best lead actress.
So what's crazy about the best lead actress category this year is that none of them were nominated from a movie nominated from Best Picture. So you know the acting was incredible when none of the movies they were in were nominated for Best Picture, yet they're still on this list. There is no gimme here. They all earned this.
Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter. Kristen Stewart for Spencer. Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos. Penelope Cruz for Madres that one. I wanted to be Kristen Stewart so fucking badly.
She did
That
do
it
really great in
hurts.
Spencer. I will say that.
I didn't see that movie and I'm fucking dying to see that movie. I just want to see my girl win an Oscar.
It was really good.
She's the least likely, I think.
I know.
I
And
also
what's
agree with
crazy
that.
is like 3 months ago, I would have said she was very likely because people were just talking nonstop about it. But Jessica Chastain and Tammy Faye is incredible. And then Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter. Yet again, that historic win, but also an incredible performance. And then it's just, what were some of the other ones you listed? Was it
Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman, Kristen Stewart, Nicole Kidman, Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Cruz is another one where people have been saying that she gave the best performance, not just of the year, of like the decade in this movie.
Wow.
And they're saying that knowing that this movie is not best picture material.
Yeah.
So the talk about that movie makes me very fearful that she's going to come right in and rip this statue out of everybody else's hands. And I think that that's cool and all, but it's just crazy with how great the acting on display was this year that it could go to a movie that's not even that good. But the performance is that incredible, and I think that speaks more to her performance for the year, which just hypes people up more. It's a vicious cycle. She very much stands a chance of doing that. But it could be Jessica Chastain because she turned into Tammy Faye, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Insanity.
I feel like Penelope Cruz is the dark horse, but I do think it's going to be Jessica Chastain. I think that's where I'm at.
All right. So, best director. Boy. All right. Let's read these. This is a fucking harsh one, my guys. I can't even with this. And, you know, the fact that Sean didn't even get on the list for Coda.
Crazy.
But at the same time, like, how could she with this list? You're going to hear
Yeah.
this list and be like, Jesus.
Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog.
Who's previously been nominated for, I believe, is The Piano. And she's obviously a great director. So I just wanted to
Kenneth
mention that.
Branagh for Belfast. Rizuke.
It's Kenneth Branagh, but
Kenneth Branagh?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Ryusuke. I want to say Ryuk for a second.
Ryuk.
Ryusuke. Hamaguchi for Drive My Car.
That's insane that he got that nomination.
Insane.
Right?
But it's awesome. And I
It
love
makes
it.
sense. Steven Spielberg for West Side Story. Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza.
Dude, are you kidding me with this category? It's
Right.
so
It's pretty stacked.
There's not like one I'm looking at where I'm like, because the one that I would throw away would be like, oh, what's the movie that's getting snubbed? West Side Story. But that's Steven fucking Spielberg. If you want him to show up to your award ceremony, you might need to guarantee him the trophy.
Yeah.
Or he
Right.
might not waste his motherfucking time,
Agreed.
baby.
He's a busy
He's
man.
a big boy. He's the biggest of boys. And the fact that everybody else in this category with him should be shitting their pants because they might give him the trophy out of fear. You know what I mean? Out of fear that it's like, wait, Steven Spielberg didn't win Best Director of the year, one of the years he was nominated?
Yeah.
That's insanity. But like Kenneth Branagh, dude, Belfast.
Yeah.
Such a personal story, such a transformative film for him where, like, yes, he worked on Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, but he hasn't done anything, like, insanely personal and art house like this. And he fucking killed it. And then, like, Drive My Car, like, is such a well-directed film.
Yeah.
Like, beyond well-directed. And, like, obviously he's in the conversation for Best Picture.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he wasn't there, it'd be crazy. But the fact that he is there is almost crazy. It's just, I don't know. It blows my mind. And then the fact that Denis Villeneuve didn't get it for Dune
Right.
is actually pretty shocking.
No, that's fucked up.
Like, he directed that insane, huge movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just didn't get nominated for it. That's
Makes
crazy.
no sense.
That's crazy. Read the nominees one more time. I want to hear them again.
Jane Campion, Kenneth Branagh, Ryusuke Hamaguchi, Steven Spielberg, Paul Thomas Anderson.
And then PTA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the GOAT directors of all time. Are they going to give it to him?
I don't think so.
Maybe though.
They
That's
might.
the
Really?
thing. It's the least likely, but it's not impossible, dude. Not with
Crazy.
the hype around his career in general.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, there's PTA apologists out there who are like, I only want to make movies like PTA does.
I could see that.
It's real, man.
Why are you
It's
so
a cultural
obsessed
move.
with me?
The way he directs films is like a cultural thing.
I just mean for this one.
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But the people who are voting are directors. Other
That's
directors
true.
are inspired by these directors.
Ah,
Do you
yeah.
realize that Bong Joon-ho won in a year where Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino were both nominated?
What?
That's insane.
That's unheard of. That is not what happens.
That's kind of when I want to give it to Ryusuke.
No way.
I
want it so bad.
Same.
Well, I mean, maybe if it wins Best Adapted Screenplay, like maybe people
Exactly.
will really get it. But I don't know, man.
I think it's going to be Spielberg with Brano maybe being second choice for me.
Brana is the first choice for me,
Interesting.
and then
Okay.
it goes Spielberg, then maybe even PTA,
TTA. Yeah, I could see that.
and then yeah, like that's.
What do you think,
Yeah.
Fran?
Dude, that's such a
I
stat
would say
category.
I really
also,
like-
Jane Campion could literally get it no
She's-
problem.
yeah,
she's
I
been
can see
nominated
it.
before, and she directed Power of the Fucking Dog, and it's an all women's Oscar year.
yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they give it to the most amazing female director of the year?
I
Like,
think it should be Steven Spielberg for West Side Story.
wow, that's bold because I don't even agree with that.
That's what I think.
It's not that I don't think it could happen. I'm just like
It was good.
the
I
fact
liked
that,
it.
that everything else got snubbed about it though.
Yeah.
That he
Yeah.
win wouldn't really be anything to do with the movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
I like
Best-
it.
Best picture, guys.
Best Picture.
This is the big
Read them
one.
all back out. Let's hear them again. Let's soak on it. Let's make a real idea of what we think's gonna win, and then what we thought was truly the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Nightmare Alley. Don't Look Up. Dune. Drive My Car. Belfast. Licorice Pizza. The Power of the Dog. West Side Story. King Richard. And Coda.
Okay. See, this is what's so frustrating to me about this list, right? All the other categories sounded so stacked, right?
Yeah.
Didn't it almost sound like she was reading movies that were unimportant to read?
Agreed.
Some
This
of them,
is-
yes.
This is what is going to happen.
Like things with Tick Tick Boom should have been on the list.
Power of the Dog stands a great chance.
You think so?
Drive My Car stands a great chance.
Yep.
At least not an amazing chance, but a pretty good chance.
Yep.
Coda stands a chance.
Mhm.
Yes.
Based on the SAG Award for Best Ensemble, that is a huge deal. What that tells you is basically, according to the indie crowd, the best movie's Coda.
Yeah.
But it will go, I think at this time, my guess is probably Belfast.
Really?
Because the hype around it has been huge. It's 100% going to win the best screenplay,
Yeah.
original screenplay. It stands zero chance of losing it. Like, let's
Yeah.
be real. If Licorice Pizza wins, that'll be a total snub and people will be pissed. But the other three aren't even possible. So it winning would be pretty crazy. But I also think that Power of the Dog stands a chance and Drive My Car stands a chance. It's literally like 50, 25, 25. And it all boils down to
Yeah.
I'll know better who stands a chance of winning once I see who wins Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Once I know that, I'll know who it's down to between Belfast and whoever. But I think that that's the bracket right now with Coda having a sneak up from behind effect.
So right now, just to clarify, your top two that you think are gonna,
I have to give it a top three because I'm not
you
sure.
gotta give it a top three.
So it's Power of the Dog, Drive My Car, Belfast.
If you had to drop off one, what would it be?
Drive My Car.
Yeah, you think
I
it's
agree.
gonna be between Belfast?
No, I didn't say that. I said it's between Power of the Dog,
Yeah.
Drive My Car,
And
Belfast.
then Belfast.
Do you
refuses to
understand
give
what
us
I'm
an
saying?
order.
No, I am.
No, I
I'm
get
giving
it.
you in
I get
order.
it.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm just
saying
messing.
these two
Yeah,
are whoever wins that adapted screenplay thing has a very good chance. But that's not to say that Kenneth Branagh can't bring it home for Belfast because Belfast is also like at the top of a lot of people's list.
And that's why I think it's not going to win.
what do you think?
What do you think's going to win?
I think it's going to be Power of the Dog as much as I don't want it to be.
I don't think
Right.
I don't know. I do and I don't.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's so
Because
frustrating.
I could also see the really strong argument for Drive My Car. And I mean, I don't know. But then again, I personally think Coda deserves it.
No, here's the thing. Coda literally is my fourth spot. And it's because it won Best Ensemble at the Screen Acting Guild. And like that is basically like saying indie voters think that this was the best movie of the year.
Yep.
And a lot of
so
people
does
who
I.
think that way work in the industry.
Yep.
I loved Coda. Coda is my number one pick
To win?
to win. Yes,
You're crazy.
but I know it's not going to.
It doesn't mean that it won't happen. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I hope it
I know,
happen.
but I want it to win. What I think is
me
gonna,
too.
I know what I think is gonna win. What I feel in my heart is gonna win is The Power of the Dog, and I don't want it to win.
Why don't you want it to win?
It
Why are
just
you
doesn't
both so
deserve
against
to.
it?
It just doesn't deserve to.
I
Coda
don't
was
hate
so
that
much
movie.
better.
I just feel like for me, it was mid tier when you have three
Exactly.
very solid picks above
Like
it.
West Side Story, I would put over.
You know what though? And here's the other thing too. This I have to say now because I didn't get the chance before. If West Side Story wasn't getting snubbed,
It is.
this
getting
would
snubbed.
be. I know, but if it wasn't, this would be the movie
Yeah.
to beat.
I could agree
Because
with that.
this is beyond a great movie. It's a great movie that's like about movies.
Yeah.
I get that it's not literally about movies, but the kind of production it is
Yeah.
and the history that it holds is so significant and incredibly made. It would absolutely. It is. A lot of people. If somebody says that's the best picture of the year, I'm like, you're probably right.
I think
That's how I feel about it. If
Yeah.
you say it's best picture of the year, you're probably right.
yeah.
I could
But
agree.
does that mean that it's gonna win best picture? I
don't think so.
I think it might be even less likely than like. It
Dune.
It might be less likely than Dune for sure. I was thinking even
Don't
lower
Look
than
Up?
that.
Oh.
I was about to say-
It might be less likely than Don't Look Up.
Don't look
Wow.
up. It sucks
I thought that
it's
was
so,
going to be lower.
If it
Right?
wins, guys, quote me on this later and tell me I'm a dumbass. But I'm telling you, the way it was snubbed in every other way, I just don't think it's going to win it.
Yeah.
I just think that it's basically a movie that's being ignored. Now, when the votes come in and I see it start winning awards, I'm going to change my fucking answer real quick.
I can't
because
wait.
it deserves a win.
Yeah.
More than maybe even Coda, just based on what they're awarding. Like, is Coda the most beautiful movie of the year? Yes. Is West Side Story the most masterfully crafted in every way?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. So
I agree.
It probably is the best picture of the year.
Yeah.
If you say it is, I'll agree with you.
My only argument would be Belfast. I think that
Belfast
That's what
is
I was
really
gonna say.
Belfast is like this year's Jojo Rabbit for me, where I'm like, that's a fucking great movie.
Great
but
kid actor.
But not everybody's gonna appreciate this.
Did
Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit take home Best Picture?
Nope. But
What,
it
what
fucking
took
deserves-
home Best Picture that year?
Parasite?
Okay. Oh, so maybe it's Drive My Car.
That's what I'm saying. It
Yeah,
feels
maybe it is
almost
Drive My
like
Car.
this
I
feels
don't
like
think
a
it's gonna be Drive
this
My
feels
Car.
like a shittier generic version of that year.
Drive My
It kind
Car-
of does.
Drive My Car is not as attainable as Parasite was.
That's true, and that's why
It's
I
not
say
gonna win.
that's why I keep saying
Belfast. For me.
Belfast.
I like
and Power of the
Belfast.
Dog, but there is a small chance Drive My Car can do it because the story is so famous already.
I think it's going to be Belfast or The Power of the Dog. I think it should be Belfast over those two, but I think it should be Coda.
I thought you'd say it should be Licorice Pizza.
No comment.
You're okay if you want to say.
I like Licorice Pizza. I get that it's problematic. I think you kind of gotta like look at it through the lens of it's the 70s. Things are a bit looser.
Oh God, let's not. We're moving on.
We'll
We're
move
moving
on from there, but it's
I
problematic.
just want to say real fast. This is a question I want to pose to the people around me here.
Yeah.
Guys, what's the least likely to win Best Picture for you? What do you think is actually an impossibility?
I think Nightmare Alley is an impossibility.
King Richard.
I more agree with Cody than you, but I think you're both right.
Really? I think Nightmare
I think
Alley is an
you're both right.
impossibility because it's too gory to be attainable.
Shape of Water won Best Picture.
But Shape of Water wasn't like.
Listen, it's not
I
going
didn't
to
watch
win,
it, but it
I
didn't
think
seem
King
as
Richard,
gory.
the addition of King Richard on this list is kind of comical. Like for real, like
Yeah.
Being the Ricardos was a better movie. Fucking Tick Tick Boom is apparently a much better movie.
So freaking good.
And so I'm kind of at a loss of words that King Richard got it when I saw King Richard and I had my own feelings about it. And it's like, just, it's nothing, especially like you even listen to other critics and they all have the exact same critique about it. And it's because it's so true. It's your run of the mill biopic with a great performance in it.
Yeah,
You know,
nothing wrong
somewhat
with that.
inspiring, somewhat controversial. We've seen it 100
But
times.
it's not the best picture if it's just that, you know. I want to see it because I guess I have like not as of an educated opinion about it. But
I want the Bob Marley biopic to be amazing.
Me too.
So let's be excited for that, Ronaldo. I'll go see that.
Let's call it the prelude, and hopefully,
I think that's what it is. I think it's just a sign of what's to come.
Okay,
what's a movie that you guys saw this year that you wish would have gotten nominated?
For Best Picture?
Yes.
Tick, Tick, Boom.
Anything else that comes to mind?
The only reason I think it got snubbed was because you had another movie musical, West Side Story, who was in the nominations. Another one I actually think was really good was Spencer. And I don't know if it 100% deserves the nomination. Like, I think there's a lot of things on this list that are really great, but then I see stuff like Licorice Pizza where I'm like, okay, I feel like you kind of got the nomination for the hype.
Yeah.
And I can see some flaws in this list for me. So I'd say Tick Tick Boom is my like it should have been there. Oh, another one I really liked was No Way Home.
No Way Home, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about Best Picture, but I could have definitely seen No Way Home.
It got snubbed a lot harder than I thought.
Showing up more than it did. Like
Yeah.
I really thought the music in it was really great. And the other thing is too is like you get all these courtesy nominations. I'm sorry, but Spider-Man No Way Home, it's better than King Richard. And I don't mean that to be fucked up about it. It's just it's a movie that saved the movie industry that was actually pretty good. I mean, like Willem Dafoe and who's the guy who plays Doc Ock? I can't remember his name. They both did great performances that were like it's a real movie.
I know. I was kind of like looking at a list to refresh myself, and I'm like, why do I want to say Spider-Man No Way Home? Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, it was so good. It was so much better of a like movie technically than I thought it was going to be too. It wasn't just like there for the popcorn. It was fun.
It felt like this year was missing a little bit of grit.
It did.
I do feel like that they kind of just said Nightmare Alley, and that's all the grit we'll have this year. And there's some great indie pictures that came out, and I'm not going to go into all of them, but there is plenty that deserve to be on this list more than this movie. I mean, what about that one wacky horror movie we saw? What was it called? The one where it was like the thing on the back of her head. You remember that?
Oh, fuck.
Malignant? Malignant was at least more entertaining than some of these movies.
Yeah. I'd rather
and
see
that was
Malignant on
cool.
the list.
And that was a cool-ass movie. I'm sorry. Anyway, guys, let us know your Oscar predictions in the comments. Let us know what you disagree with us about and why. We want to hear all about it.
Yes.
And also, let's sub, like, comment, all that good stuff. I'm thinking now, originally it was going to be an impossibility for us to watch the Oscars together, but it's looking like that's actually how it's going to shake out now. So hopefully, I guess we'll all watch it together. Maybe we'll, talk about it a little bit after.
Wow,
maybe a little bonus
that's awesome.
And, we'll be there for the shit show with the rest of you guys, and we'll be sleeping through the boring parts too. Also,
somebody to commiserate with after.
Bob Saget better be in the in memoriam, bitch.
Yeah.
My heart.
If you don't put him in that in memoriam, I'm gonna
you really want to
slap
fucking
you.
End this on bring up Bob Saget?
No, we're gonna end on your social medias.
Okay. Well, you can find me on this channel.
At a Pilot
YouTube.
Podcast.
YouTube.com/Pilot Podcast. You can also listen to the audio version everywhere.
Yes, and also we've got social medias. We'll link them below. We're on Twitter and we're on Instagram.
Woo woo.
Yep. Also, you can listen to me on my other channel, youtube.com/Logan Tyler, or if you're listening on different podcasts, I have a show called Average Joe Interviews with Logan Tyler, where I interview everyday people because I've interviewed a couple celebrities. A lot of them are boring. Not talking about you, Nassim Pedrad. You were fucking cool. But anyway, my point being, you can catch me over there. Or you can catch my Let's Play channel, which your boy over here, youtube.com/don't have the URL, but it's called Team Hyperfang. And if you guys go subscribe, you can watch our Nuzlocke, as well as if you subscribe, we can get that URL so we can save the end of videos. And this part can go faster.
It's some good shit. I featured on an episode. It's a lot of fun.
Love that.
You can skip that one. Anyway, kidding.
Actually, the audio is kind of bad, so maybe.
Not my fault.
We're such doofuses.
Yeah, we're dumb
it's crazy.
as shit.
We're figuring it out. Right now we're recording, so this is impressive enough.
Right? Oh my god.
Speaking of recording, I'm a recording artist. I have an album called Scorpio. It's out now on all streaming platforms. And I have a YouTube channel at @CLBlueOfficial /CLBlueOfficial, whatever. I make Critical Role content every Saturday.
Guys, his Critical Role videos are blowing up, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. And the people who don't watch them that are on this channel should go watch them.
Please.
And even
Thanks.
if you're like, I don't know what this is, just like leave it on in the background for a couple minutes and leave a like and come back after you use the bathroom.
They're like
Do the-
6-minute videos.
Do the
It's not that
Justin
much
Bieber
time.
method. Just play it while you sleep all night over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
do that
exactly.
because that's a little creepy, but thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate the
That's what I do.
Just imagine every 6 minutes hearing you restart your dialogue.
Hey guys, it's CL.
Hey guys,
It's like, I know! Anyway,
you're
sorry.
just like the overlord in everybody's dreams.
Oh Lord.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
Please let us know if you like this format and if you guys want us to do more movie news related stuff or anything like that, or if you like when we just review movies themselves. But overall, we do movies and TV shows on this channel. And we thank you, our subscribers and our watchers, for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you
We
next
love you
week.
guys.
Later, Gators.